Joey Logano, once again, defends the current playoff format, and let's talk about why Bubba Wallace may be this year's breakout playoff performer. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove, presented by Tableau TV. It's starting to feel like fall. I went outside today and I think it dipped under 90 degrees here in Texas for the first time in a long time. Fall has to be like the best sports season, right? October baseball coming up, the start of the hockey and basketball seasons, obviously the NASCAR playoffs, and of course football. Most college football teams kick off this Saturday. In a NASCAR college football crossover, later in this episode, Oregon State football head coach Trent Bray will join the show. Oregon State, of course, is partnering with driver Dean Thompson to sponsor the 26 at Portland this Saturday. So stay tuned to the end of this video for that conversation. But first, I gotta talk about the Cup Series playoffs. You can expect my full, detailed playoff predictions round by round later this week, probably Friday. But I wanted to react to some media day comments in this episode. We're going to talk about who I consider to be a couple of playoff X factors. Beginning with Joey Logano, who last year, after an uninspiring regular season, came to life the final 10 weeks, won 3 races, and won his 3rd Cup Series title. Since then, Joey has unintentionally become the poster child of everything some fans find wrong with the current format. It's put him in the awkward position of not only having to defend his 3 Cup Series titles, which have all come under the stage racing playoff point knockout round era, but it also leads to him trying to defend on the fly the current playoff format more broadly. He was, of course, asked about the format, if he likes the current playoff format during media day today, to which Joey responded, quote, "I love it. I know people say, oh, it's because it works for you. I know, sure, but I do think it's very exciting." I'll link this full ESPN story, Kelly Crandall writing, down in the description below. A lot of good quotes in there, but Logano did go on to say he's open to making some format changes, specifically simplifying some things, though he did say that he's in favor still of the one race winner-take-all finale, which myself and many others have criticized. The story here isn't Joey Logano defending the playoff format. He has to. Much of his legacy has been defined by late season playoff success. That's not the story. Really, I want to see if he can pull off the improbable again. Back-to-back seasons, break the even year Joey curse. Let's compare Joey Logano's 2024 regular season to his 2025 regular season. 1 win both years, 3 to 4 top 5s, 7 to 8 top 10s, and yeah, his numbers across the board pretty similar. You might actually argue this year's been a tad better. He has a better average finish, more laps led. Could Joey Logano win it again? He's had speed in recent weeks. Top 10 at Iowa, top 5 at Richmond, was leading Daytona when he spun out late. Look, I think it's very unlikely that Joey Logano, or anyone for that matter, pulls off a title run like last year again. Think about how improbable Logano's run was 1 year ago. He won a super speedway race and then a fuel mileage race by a slim margin to advance through 2 of the rounds, and then the other round he only advanced because Alex Bowman was disqualified at the Roval. I'm not saying Joey and his crew chief Paul Wolfe didn't step up in the biggest moments, but boy, a lot of things had to fall perfectly into place for him to even have the opportunity to race in the championship 4. I don't see that happening again, not in back-to-back seasons, but I'll give Joey Logano this. I think the schedule over the next 9 weeks lines up really well for Team Penske's strong suits. Team Penske, last few years, best at the short, flat ovals. That's why they dominate Phoenix every fall. Every round of these playoffs have at least one short, flat oval smack dab in the middle, whether that's Gateway, which was won by Austin Cindric a year ago, New Hampshire in the 2nd round, 3rd round has Martinsville, and Talladega, which Team Penske has performed well at in recent seasons, and then Phoenix for the finale. I think it's unlikely that Joey Logano backs up his championship, goes back-to-back, but you at least have to respect what Joey and Paul Wolfe are capable of, especially when you look at the track types in each round coming up. Let's talk about Bubba Wallace, making just his second driver's playoff appearance. This is the first time the 23 car has been in the owner's playoffs. Bubba said today that he feels like he belongs here. He says he believes that his team is a legit championship contender. I found this quote particularly interesting. Bubba told Peter Strada, quote, "I don't look at any round as, oh man, this might be a struggle for us. I also look at the playoff field the last couple weeks, and no one is really running away from it. No one has had a breakout. You have a guy that can get on a hot streak for a couple races, and then it's somebody else." Yeah, so I've been working on my playoff predictions, obviously, which you'll see later in the week, and I've had this exact same thought. The playoff format, the knockout rounds and everything, it's designed to prevent domination. The thing is, this year, nobody is dominating. I could name at least 5, 6, maybe 7 drivers this year who for a stretch looked like a championship favorite, beginning with Christopher Bell, who shot out of a cannon, won 3 of the first 4 races. He hasn't won a points race since. Denny Hamlin has 4 wins, but stumbled the last few weeks, finished 6th in the regular season standings. Shane Van Gisbergen won 4 races, but he's also not scored a single top 10 on an oval yet. Chase Elliott, super consistent, top 10 almost every week, but only 1 win, and it was a super speedway. Kyle Larson has 3 wins this year, but they all came before the summer started. William Byron was the regular season champion, but he has fewer wins than Larson, Hamlin, Bell, SVG. Ryan Blaney came on strong late the last few weeks, but kind of in the same boat. Then there are the guys like Joey Logano I mentioned, who you have to respect. He's always lurking. Chase Briscoe is in a really good spot. Bubba Wallace is having maybe the best year of his career in many ways. Tyler Reddick, his teammate, was the regular season champion a year ago, was in the championship 4 last fall. Ross Chastain won the Coke 600. Alex Bowman is a top 10 machine. My point is, and Bubba Wallace's point is, that nobody is having a Kyle Larson 2021 season, or even a Kyle Larson 2024 season, or a Hamlin Harvick 2020. There is no big 3 this year like there was in 2018. We know the format is designed to be unpredictable. It's designed to generate parity, but this has to be the most wide open championship 4 battle in recent memory. So that's why when Bubba Wallace says he feels like his team is a legit championship contender, I actually believe him. Is it likely that Bubba wins the title this year? No, it's not. But does he have a shot? Yeah, I think so. And a couple of years ago, I don't think I would have said that. Look, I've questioned on this show in the past if Bubba Wallace would ever become a legit championship contender. I've talked about maybe how making the playoffs, winning a race or 2 a year, that might be his ceiling. But now I could, again, not saying it's likely, I could see a path for Bubba Wallace to make the championship 4. I mean, in this first round, Bubba Wallace has had some really great runs at Darlington. Kansas is in the next round. He's won there before. Talladega is the round after that. He's won that race before. There's another intermediate in that round as well, which 2311 typically performs at Martinsville. I'm just saying, Bubba Wallace won Indianapolis, rattled off a handful of top 10s in a row, dominated Richmond before a mistake on pit road. He's led more laps, I think, than anyone the past 5 weeks. I'm not saying it's likely, but Bubba Wallace is the 9 seed this year. Do you know who was the 9 seed last year? That's right, Joey Logano. And this year's championship fight is far more wide open than last year's, in my opinion. I wouldn't consider Bubba Wallace a championship frontrunner or favorite, but for the first time in a long time, I could realistically see 9 or 10 of these playoff drivers making it to the championship 4 and making some noise in November. NASCAR wants parity. By golly, they've gotten it so far this season. Now, changing the subject completely, the NASCAR Xfinity Series races at Portland this Saturday on the CW. Later that night, Oregon State has their first football game of the season against California. I had the great pleasure of speaking with head coach Trent Bray earlier this week. I am now joined by Oregon State head football coach, Coach Trent Bray. Coach, Your season kicks off right after the NASCAR Xfinity Series race ends at Portland International Raceway this Saturday. College football and NASCAR share a lot of crossover, I think, with their fan bases. So what will viewers see when they tune into your first game against Cal this Saturday night?
Yeah, I think they'll see a lot of excitement, a lot of fast physical play, kind of the identity that we've created here at Oregon State.
Absolutely. Well, I was talking to driver Dean Thompson, driver of the number 26 Oregon State University Toyota. He's going to be on campus Friday before your first game to help prep him for his visit and maybe to look out for his own safety. Can you tell us about the turnover chainsaw?
Yeah, it was something we kind of started. Oh, it's been about 6 years ago now, but the turnover chain was big at Miami, and so when you were looking at kind of what can we do in that line, that was kind of the new fad, and the turnover chainsaw just fit really well, and the players love it.
So what defines Oregon State's culture under your leadership? Because I was talking to Sam Hunt, who owns Sam Hunt Racing, and was asking him about how he's set the culture and how difficult that can be to maintain, within a NASCAR organization. So as a head coach of a major football program, how would you explain the culture to like a NASCAR team, for example?
Yeah, I think starts with the hardworking. We want guys that are self-starters, self-motivated, love the grind, right? Because we do a lot of things that are fun, but the real work's done when no one's watching. So that's a big part of our culture. And then just being, disciplined people. We talk about start fast, make good decisions, and finish everything. Those are kind of our team rules. And so that's kind of how we approach everything we do.
Well, one of my last questions for you, Coach. What makes the Oregon State fan base so unique?
Just the passion that they have for this place and the teams here at Oregon State. It's a unique place where, being in a small community, college town, people grew up being Oregon State fans. And so there's just means a little bit more to them, where sometimes in big cities you get a bunch of transplants from all over the country. They're not as deeply tied into that team, and that's what makes Oregon State fans unique.
I love that. I respect that a ton. Well, hopefully a lot of Oregon State students and fans will not only be pulling for you guys, obviously, on Saturday, but we'll also be pulling for Dean Thompson this weekend. Coach Bray, thank you so much for stopping by, spending a little bit of time with us today, and good luck this season.
I appreciate it.
Never thought I'd be interviewing a Division I head football coach on Out of the Groove, but while we're continuing this college football, NASCAR Xfinity, Pacific Northwest crossover, I also met Ron Callan, radio voice broadcaster for the Oregon State Beavers, and got to talk to him a bit about his racing background and looking ahead to all the action this weekend in the Portland, Oregon area. It is now my great pleasure to welcome Ron Callan of the Beaver Sports Network onto the show. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm fantastic. It's unusually hot here in the Northwest, but, hey, it's summertime, right? You got to expect some high 90s, but it's cooling off. It should be perfect for the Portland race this weekend and for the Beavers season football opener against the Cal Bears.
Yeah, an exciting weekend up there in the Pacific Northwest. I'll ask you about that Portland race in a moment, but we were just talking. You said that way back in the mid 2000s, you actually met AJ Allmendinger at a Champ Car event. What do you remember about that?
All I remember is that he was really nice. He was kind of shy at first, but we got comfortable. I was doing a talk show in Portland, and he was a great guest, and he won the race. So that turned out well. And, that 200-mile course up there, it's a lot of fun. There's lots of twists and turns, and people are excited about what's going to be happening this weekend.
I was talking to Coach Bray earlier this week, and he was talking about the energy around game day. Oregon State, there's just a special vibe in that town on game day. What is the fan experience like on game day from your perspective?
Well, there's a big Beaver block party, and about an hour in, the buses pull up and the team walks through the throng of orange and black Beaver fans, and as they head into the locker room. And so there's lots of emotion there. The band is fantastic. Olin Hannum, the director, is an amazing producer. And so, and of course there's Northwest craft beer, which is amazing. I don't know if you've heard about Pacific Northwest craft beer, but it's great. Or if you want some coffee up here is awesome as well. But, the energy, the fan base is so passionate about Oregon State. And this being, albeit an unusual season, where they're actually an independent team. I mean, they're playing schools like Fresno State. They're going to play at Texas Tech, at Tulsa, at Appalachian State in Boone, North Carolina, back there in the heart of NASCAR country, right? So that's going to be fun to go back there. In fact, 4 years ago, we had a basketball tournament with the women at Daytona Beach.
Oh, wow.
And I had to sneak out of the hotel in the morning, get a lift, and they just took me down to Daytona International Raceway, right, where the 500s run. And I couldn't get in, but I just kind of peeked my way. I just couldn't believe how big that place is.
Oh, it's massive. Oh, my gosh. Takes up the whole horizon.
It was unbelievable. But anyway, back to the Beavers. This opening game's a big game. You talked to Trent Bray. I talked to him this week. He's really pumped up about year 2 of his tenure. But, he's been a Beaver a long time. He played here. He was a standout linebacker. He was a defensive coordinator until recently. And this year, he's the head coach and the defensive coordinator. So he's got a lot of pressure, but he's also excited about this team. And, hey, we got a quarterback away from Duke, Malik Murphy, 6'5", 230, strong. Great arm. I think he's going to help lead this offense, and I can't wait to see what happens this season.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds very exciting times there for Oregon State. NASCAR, we talked about, is coming to Portland International Raceway this weekend. We know that not only are sports fans in the Pacific Northwest some of the most passionate bunch, but there are a lot of great race fans out there who are clamoring for more and more NASCAR action. What makes the Pacific Northwest or Portland or just that general region, what makes it such a great sports scene, in your opinion?
Well, there's such variety. I mean, you think about with the mountain peaks, you've got skiing, you're on the ocean. People actually in 60-degree weather at the Pacific Ocean go surfing out there. But when it comes to cars. There's America has a love affair with cars. I've been to so many. I was at a parade up on Bainbridge Island outside of Seattle. A huge display of over 100 cars from the 50s and 60s, and the 57 Chevys with the fins, and a Carmen Ghia with the engine in the back, things like that. There's so many great things to see. And the love affair is there, and I think there is a thirst for more motorsports here. You think about Washougal, Washington, where the motorbikes go. They're very successful. Like I'd mentioned, up in Kent, Washington, SIR with the drags. At Portland with the 200, the old G.I. Joe's 200. It's been around forever, and I'm expecting some big crowds, and I can't wait to meet the day before Dean Thompson, who's going to, can we talk about this Oregon State car that's going to be in that race in Portland?
It looks pretty great. I love that you have the Toyota and Beaver microphone logos there. You're prepared. Perfect partnership for this weekend.
It is. And the car is gorgeous. And we're going to have a nice reception for Dean. We know he can't drive it around Reser Stadium, although that would be fun to see. But anyway, we're excited to meet him, talk to him, ask him some questions. And I think there's going to be a good turnout of, Beaver fans, but also fans of, fans of NASCAR. NASCAR is synonymous with quality, and I remember when I was a kid watching Cale Yarborough, Richard Petty, and Allison. And then today's racers. I watched that race last weekend at Daytona.
Yeah, massive.
Man, there's some what incredible racing. And the guy who was on the bubble, that guy was nervous before the race, but hey, he slid in, right? He made the top 16.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was an exciting weekend at Daytona, going to be an exciting weekend at Portland. This has been great getting to know you, Ron. I love your passion, your energy for all things Oregon State, but just sports in general. Obviously, with what I do, I'm a big fan of sports media and broadcasting, and I get a lot of questions from young fans, even younger than me, who are also interested in sports and want to break into broadcasting. So do you have any advice for anyone who's looking to get into this industry in some way, shape, or form?
Sure. And the thing about this industry, it's changed so dramatically in the last 6 years with smartphones. I mean, I just spent an hour before I came here putting together a promo for the Beaver Sports Podcast, which is coming out, this week as well, our first one of the season with the college football opener, and that's our football special. But, I'd say the number one thing is be yourself. Be yourself and be prepared. Do your homework. If you come off knowledgeable, likable, yourself, even if you have some kind of an edge. I mean, sometimes in sports, people want that edge, want that confidence. And hey, that's part of what makes sports interesting is the people who know the teams, know the stadiums, know the food. I mean, what's the food like in Knoxville? I bet there's some pretty good food at the football games there. I mean, those kind of things, little tidbits, especially if you're doing a show. I think it's great to have, and some people just, if you've grown up in NASCAR, it's in your blood. And I think that's important.
Yeah. Authenticity, especially nowadays with everyone has, that's what I tell people. Everyone has access now to the internet. You can post anything you want anytime and have a chance at finding an audience. And so I think people resonate with, like you said, that passion, that authenticity. So that's great stuff. Brilliant advice there. Really appreciate that, Ron. Great getting to meet you today, and hope you have a great time at Portland this weekend. Should be a great weekend of NASCAR Xfinity Series racing. Thanks for being on.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate y'all watching. Something a little different on the show this week. Thank you so much for tuning in, folks. I'll catch you in the next episode. Have a great rest of your night. I'll talk to you again soon.